Yeah, boy.
Alright, I'm muting the stream, but I'm having the stream up.
Yeah, boy.
And then I'm ready to go to void mode. And that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It is live on all the things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how many numbers I can count to. How many numbers can you count to? Can you count more than 6?
Nope, not even close.
What?
I can count to 4. I can count to 6 in 2 groups of 3, or a group of 3 groups of 2. Or a group of 3, and then a group of 2, and then a shorter group of 2.
How many cups of coffee does it take to count to 6?
Okay, so if you take the time of the day, right, and you change that into military time, it's that time divided by 2 plus 1.
Okay. I think that's 4. I think that means 4 cups of coffee to count to 6.
Let's see, what's the military time right now? 21?
It is 21.
21 divided by 2 is 11.5, plus 1 is 12.5, so 12.5 cups of coffee.
Just a normal amount of coffee.
A normal amount. Can you hear that or no?
Yeah, not obviously not through the microphone, but I hear you playing it and I like it. I met my baby at the bus stop. She kicked me right square in the jaw. Pissed at me for leaving town. But what else is a traveling clown supposed to do? You gotta leave town. Boom.
Hell yeah, dude! I like the traveling clown. We should get the voice start at some point. All right, I'm gonna go into void mode.
Void.
Can you just give me a heads up when I go in that you can hear me?
Oh yeah, where do you want me to tell you that? You want me to draw it?
Out loud or thumbs up in the camera.
Oh yeah. That's what we're talking about. Yes, 1,000,000%. I'm gonna message you too. Yes, very yes. That sounded nice, crisp, clean, and satisfying. Hell yeah, brother.
Hello.
Hello. Dude, you
Turn
were...
all my fancy Discord things. I wish you could have like Discord audio modes and I could just click one or the other. I understand why, like, I am one of the rare people who would need that. So
Yeah, I agree.
reset voice settings. That probably would do it. Yeah, I thought some moments that were pretty cool. I really
Yeah.
like narrative. I was definitely influenced by that. Like I picked to stay on that like kind of fifth C, like the uh da 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 like what is it? I can't even remember right now. Dorian kind of scale there because I thought like, oh, this sounds like medieval and heroic, and you're like making a sword guy, and I thought like, okay, maybe in the narrative here, like you said that the wizards are the only ones who can save us, and then maybe the sword guy is like the turning point, or maybe he's like the hero that like stopped the monster, even though the you know the wizards or whatever are supposed to do it. I also like there's these moments where like you just kind of like fuck with the settings, and it's like there's
Yeah.
no real end output for you there. Like that doesn't change the way it looks in the end, but it does like make it a cool moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I really want to have sort of like a VFX board of like just a distortion pedal almost just to
Yeah,
like change things while it's happening because I think it adds it's like when we're using like charcoal and stuff and
right.
I can like do so much with one application because I can just get angry, I could throw it or I can scrape it and you can like change what's happening but with like because you're seeing all the like settings happening as I'm opening menus, which I like too. Um,
Right.
it's almost like a big color wash when you just like distort. You're just like whoosh. But I did end up keeping some of them, like
Right.
the Balgor guy in the middle became blue because of it. But like in the end, it's still like we're making this like really like messy glitch situation. Um, yeah, I like the where you would go to you got more like a little bit like elevatory, where it's like kind
Yeah.
of like loading, and I don't know why, but I was like, man, it'd be fun to do like post-it notes on the piece of like the story,
Right.
and I think it
Yeah. I
worked
mean,
out.
like some like this is the narrative time. I thought that too. Like the narrator coming in, which just made it so fun. Yeah, I thought this ended up being really cool. I definitely forgot how much fun this all was, and especially like with the
Yeah,
story aspect of all of it. Like it gets to be really like I think one it like your I can tell that your like normal drawing is very like you kind of create like a sort of narrative situation to set up a lot of like your landscapes and stuff like that. But I think one of the cool things about like the stuff that we end up doing together is that like the landscapes that I think you do sometimes that are narrative feel more like different events are either on different parts of the page or different events are or it's like almost like you can imagine a tapestry saying, "Hey, this is the Battle of Trent," you know?
yeah,
And it's like a single look into what was otherwise a linear kind of thing. And this is cool to me because it's like the story you can watch unfold or you can kind of see a blur of it all at once together at the end, you know?
yeah, exactly. Because like
Right.
man, some before I flattened it, like the early layers there it was a lot more graphic, like
Right.
there was at least three wizards and there was this character in the middle and then also at the very beginning when I drew the cereal box with the guitarios on it,
Right.
Very different to where it ends
Yeah.
up.
Well, to me too, it's like I think that the end result here creates such a depth of like there's something that happened here. Like like I think some of those narrative works that you do normally, I like them both for different reasons. But like the cleaner narrative, like this is like it's like, oh, this is point in the story that I could be told. Here I'm like, oh, there was a lot of different layers of the story here. Almost in a way that reminds me of like you know those big obelisks you did for your final art project, and so much of it was like you draw on something for a while, and then you gesso some of it back into the void,
Yeah.
and then you draw on it for a while, and it was like, okay, some of this is like stuff that we're meant to see. Some of it's stuff that like at one point was here but is kind of no longer, but it's also still sort of here. Like in a similar way that like we have fossils, right? And fossils are like a relic of the past, but also a thing of the present.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it so cool to kind of see some of that stuff happen. And you know, it's fun for me because I can really feel like I'm like egging that on or driving different aspects of the story.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I mean, it's impossible to not like feel like feelings of the drawing change because my feelings are changing because I'm listening to you play different things, and so it is weird like going from when we would do rule based stuff to like this still feels like the monster movie thing that we were working on, and it's very like emotion based, like how you said you saw the you started getting a narrative in your head which then kept you in a certain tone or like
right,
key, and then it's like the same thing. I hear a certain thing and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like boss battle, or this is feels this way. And like I went
right,
into this, the only word I had in mind was one that I didn't even use, which was fog, because it's exceptionally foggy out today,
right.
and it just didn't even happen. I mean, the whole thing could be a fog in a sense, but like I didn't intentionally. I was like, I think I'm gonna do like a fog and then like monsters coming out of it, but then like it didn't even come to be that.
Yeah, yeah. It ended up being so cool. Um, I really fuck with this.
Yeah, I like this one. I mean, I like all these. I just think there's like the the thing you're talking about, the pentimenti or whatever it's called. No, sorry, palimpsest. The like history of things changing over time, and then you only getting a record. You only have like the record of the last layer, and like maybe some scratch through.
Right,
That will always be my favorite kind of art. Just like the degradation and the destroying of ideas that turns into something else. In the same
yeah,
way that like a graffiti wall is covered in all this stuff, but really like you're saying, the art of it is like the entirety of all of. If you could just be the observer outside of time and see everyone who's spray painted the wall, that's where all the like juice is.
yeah.
But
But like
really, all you
also
get is
any
the end.
individual frame, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like to me, it's something interesting, and I think a lot about this with like sculpture. Like you only really ever get to look at one angle of it at once. You know, like if you're in person, you only really get to look at it like in one spot. But part of understanding is understanding that it's a three-dimensional object, and
Mm-hmm.
that you can kind of walk around and sort of keep the impression of the rest of it in your head. And especially if you get like weird or like big or something like that, where it's like, you know, like it's then really hard to keep it all in. It comes as blurry, like, okay, any given viewpoint of this is the experience, but also the experience is sort of bigger than that. And it's kind of difficult to kind of say, like, okay, is like the experience of this, like listening to the music and watching the art happen all at once? I'd say yes, but then also like the end results of like there's an audio, there's a visual, it kind of has meaning that it wouldn't have had. And then like also someone could come in and look at it without knowing anything and just be like, there's something going on here. You know, there's so much lore here that like I imagine someone would have imagined you had this whole like script in your head. And it's kind of incredible to me to think about like a lot of this is just sort of like, you know, in the moment. I think, yeah, it'd be really fun. Just I still think more to get these back in front of people. I know we did the like performances live a lot in the past of kind of like the more structured thing, but these like weird long narratives that kind of encourage us to do this. Like I don't know. I know I was originally really hesitant when we were talking to do like hey, I'm just gonna improvise music and you're gonna improvise art. Like that could be like, you know, a thing and like people do that, but I think that like the kind of cool thing about it is that you and I are both thinking about time and thinking about story in a
Yeah.
weird way
Yeah,
that I
it
don't
becomes
always
something
think this
very
kind of thing
different.
does it. Yeah,
Like it's not, oh, this person is drawing while this person's playing music, and it's like, oh, it's colorful. I get it. The synesthesia of it is like, oh, okay, this
right,
palette makes sense because like it's super upbeat or like it's super dark, so it's black and red or whatever. It's not that. It almost like in my brain. I mean, I still think about like those 15 minutes of like, okay, our word is ship in a bottle.
two or
Yeah,
whatever.
and it's like, okay, how do we create a visual story about one little simple picture, you know?
Right,
And like when you're doing it with like the charcoal, it's like it's only going to be a picture of a shoe at the end. Like there's not
right,
going to be a lot more. But with digital, it's like you can kind of plow through and like just add all these layers that you wouldn't be able to
right.
do with like dry or wet medium. So
Yeah,
then you do get
it's
that
so
like
cool.
constant like story. Yeah, yeah. Some folks who had seen um, the 7 we've done prior in the like square format, the like album cover format.
Hmm.
A lot of recommendations have been, man, if elements of them were animated after they're done, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Like if just there was a little bit of visual jazz, you know, like if there was like some static going on here, but then this guy like moves. He's like just like kind of breathing on top of the canvas or something like that.
I think even too like if you could give this to an animator who like that's what they do
Yeah,
and tell them like,
exactly.
hey, like, can you make like a 15-second animation where one like because like I could see like a cool like you looking at this image and then like that sword guy like starts moving, comes to life. The frog monster comes out and like eats him, or he like slashes its tongue off or something, and
Yeah,
then like
and then it goes back.
it goes back. You know,
Yeah,
like that could be so fun to just like even if it's not like you know you doing like because I think that would be a cool point to like bring in someone else who like does animation and like have them like them imagine okay you've seen this what do you think the way to you know encapsulate or to bring out you know the story or like you know like they may even think it a different way they like might take like the glass around that like frog man and just like you know bring that glass up and then just like have him come up and like make a speech or some stupid shit you know like it would be cool to see what someone else would just say like hey like I'm gonna you know take another direction and see where it goes.
you said speech, and then this came to mind. It's like this is the podium.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm with you here. Let him cook.
He drops the mic, but then this is the thing: is like his head, like Futurama style, or it's the guy, it's the little Balgor, right? And
Right,
he's got to be tiny and purple in here, and he's the one like
right,
controlling the body, and then the body like takes him away. He's
right.
permanently stuck in this prison, but he's allowed to like move around, and the prison is this uh this like animatronic thing that just carries him. And so like he doesn't have any of his like demon powers, right? But now he's just like a politician. And he's using his like permanent imprisonment to like try to sway the masses.
Or like, okay, imagine how cool this would be. I mean, you have to get like a find the right person to jump in on this, but like imagine like a short story fiction author, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we set up live shows like one a month. Do 12 of these. All of them kind of like this, you know? Like vaguely no one needs to specifically say it's like a certain era or like a certain like kind of like high fantasy the way that this one kind of was, but like vaguely fantasy, vaguely all sort of set in the same realm. And so they could say like this is like Agelbar or something like that, some stupid name, and then like we do 12 of these. Fiction short story writer, right? Writes 12 short stories about, each of these 12 events, right? And then it's kind of like a whole lore. And then, right, again, I'm thinking about like you just keep passing that on to other creators. So then you have someone who like likes to write like tabletop settings, and you have them do like a tabletop, and then you have all this lore built up. Like I think that kind of thing would be really cool. Of being like, hey, it's like the sisterhood of the traveling pants creativeness, where it's like I'm gonna make a thing that I think has richness, depth, and ambiguity, where some other creative can then go and like put their juice on it. You know? I thought that would be so cool. Such a weird, cool project.
Those are the travel pants.
Yeah, oh, look at the fucking butt on those travel pants.
Dude, they come ready.
Oh, they definitely come. Yeah. But wouldn't that be such a cool little project? If,
It would be.
like
I do like the idea of having some of the like the start the jazz gets removed a little bit by like you're saying like another creative short story, so they can a little more fleshed out.
right.
Like RPG story that's already ahead of time. But yeah,
Or it could just be like 12 modules in like a land, And then you have it as like a little D&D kind of thing where there's like just 12, and then each of these like create ideas for encounters.
wait, there's 12.
Right, like we did this like for a whole year, and we did like one show a month for a year. I bet you if we pitched that to Athica, they'd lose their mind.
We should just go do it at the university.
At Georgia?
All of the universities just be like, look, your graduating class isn't working hard enough, so we're gonna come and we're gonna make ridiculous art that makes everybody feel good. Wait, there needs to be toes. Now it's kind of like Frodo. Just found 12 bricks.
Yeah, I'm a hundo P in on that. That would be so cool. Like, just to be like, this is what we're gonna do. This is, yeah, I don't know. I really like this idea of doing 12, like one for each blah de blah. And then imagine putting like them in row like 4 rows of 3 or 3 rows of 4, like printing out the
Yeah.
digital stuff. You could have it in a room in a gallery. You could have the videos just streaming with audio, and then you sorry, you have the video streaming with audio, and then you're just like, you know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. I think it like one thing that I like about that a lot is I just think there's the medium itself of which we're doing, like we said earlier, when someone does music and art collaborations, people have an idea in mind of what that is. And this isn't like anything that they have experienced, you know? And I think that that's really, really interesting. Like
Yeah.
being able to see a piece, you know, and having this like, you know, ominous and sort of air filling noise, you know, because it's like it's music and it's noise and it's energy, it's all the good stuff.
Right. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, like
I think
someone
it'd be
came in and I was muted, and while we're doing it, I don't really talk, just because it's easier that way. But someone was watching on Twitter for a moment, and they said, "What kind of ritual is happening here?" And like there definitely was something happening. It was an imprisonment ritual, but I also love the idea of like someone coming in to when these sets are happening, and like at any given 30 seconds it's just a fever dream, you know.
right.
And I love that.
Yeah.
It reminds me when we did that, because like when we would do multiverse, you know, it's short enough that people were like they're in it beginning to end. But I love that
Right.
idea of like when we did that whole like hour long piece of one note. It's just like anyone walking in and seeing that,
Right.
they're just like, these people are insane.
Yeah, it's got to be a conviction of just like do it regardless of the reaction or result. That's how I get when I'm improvising too. Like I think too much about like other people, about like, oh, like are they gonna think that like when I do the poppier stuff, when I'm like, you know, doing stuff that's just like bad explosions in the sky or like a bad blues progression or bad jazz. Like I'm like sometimes like in my brain when we've had more like listeners or like I thought something else, I've been like two in my head about like making bad ideas or like I'm like, oh, do I do this layered chord sound too much? I'm like, no, like fuck it, just do what you want to do, you know, like you'll have your bag of tricks, you pull it out and it's kind of like whatever happens happens.
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, I just really I don't know, maybe I'm getting too excited about something that won't happen or can't happen, but like I really like this idea of like again, like doing like 12 of these, like one a month at a place where people could go. And then the entire idea then is to take those 12 and have them be the basis of some other creative doing something else, you know?
Hmm.
Like it's D&D or it's 12 short stories about, you know, fantasy scenarios or like it's whatever else, you know, like that really thrills me the idea of like, okay, like we put in some work to do, you know, this, and then other people are gonna be able to say like use that as creative inspiration to be like, all right, then you go do that thing, and kind of encouraging that and being like, okay, like anything you do weaves into like this thing isn't even just like the thing we do. It's like again, Agglebop or something, and it becomes like the D&D realm is like you know it's the lore that they have but also it's like whatever other people add to it and anything individually at any given time like the same thing I was saying like someone could just look at the art afterwards just a visual and be like oh rad like that's a whole thing in its own self but like this idea of like it's a thing it's got so many other component parts you know it's other people can do this or that you know
Yeah.
like take what you want from it it's like you know but just acknowledging that anything that came or expired from it has to be like linked into the fact that it's now part of the bigger you know amorphous multimedia project. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I like the idea of like if they were not square and they were like the landscape form, and then there's all this stuff happening in each of them with all these soundscapes, and then if there was like an additional layer of story that someone attached to it afterwards, like the post hoc part, I think is important because like you know, like you were saying, we have ideas of when we're doing it, but then like someone interpreting it, but then them, but then having this like, okay, how do all 12 of these fit together, and then they write that like oh yeah look
Right.
there is a connecting arc, um which I think is fun.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to like if we're doing them live to then be like, all right, the thing's over. You can be like futzing with stuff, and then you do like what you just did, like pull up like a notes sheet essentially, and we can go back and we can talk about our own reactions. We can explain what the fuck the project is. If like because people might like know from like flyers, and they might not have any idea what's going on,
Yeah.
And then being like, hey, this is blah blah blah. This is what's going on here. This is what this is. Just got duped up, ready doop, and then you're like, okay, cool. Now what do you guys think? Like, what did you find? And then kind of just like documenting all of that. And then again, using that as like, okay, here's all the things, and then the idea is like to link up with other creatives who want to think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm excited that we're doing it again, especially in the new year with the new mind. Not the whole new year, new me thing, but like that I've been burnt out and depressed, and like coming out of it and being able to make stuff that is making me happy is really really good. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely down to do this again next week or the week after, whichever is better for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's regroup. Let me see what my calendar looks like. I don't even know what next week looks like. I'm pretty open next week so far.
Nice.
So yeah, let's do it next week. And then yeah, I still I'm thrilled about this idea of like I would love to take this somewhere, like to do it in front of people, to do it with, and turn the kind of like, because you've been saying like this for a while that this is part of the magic of what we've been doing together is um the kind of creative relationship we've been building, and the fact that like it's a collection, but like I think then taking the collection and making a larger project of the collection would be cool,
Mm-hmm.
the same way that we did like 16 of the multiverses to get the um it like the gallery project.
Mm-hmm. I think it's fun
Like,
to the like concept of making a bunch of these things sort of in succession, like you're saying, the once a month performing them. I think it also just kind of like works in tandem with your solo project. Kyle Lewis is a boring name. Like, it will continue to give us more ideas on how a multimedia performance happens,
yeah,
and like ways it can be displayed.
yeah, 100%. I think that like that would be cool. Yeah.
Radical. Oh, I didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
this notification. There's someone subscribed on Twitch. Thank you so much.
Watermelon. I think they might be one of my TikTok followers.
I
I'm not
Watermelon,
positive.
you're awesome.
Hero.
Wherever you came from, we love you. I gotta redial in my OBS so I can get proper notifications. Um,
I have no idea what OBS is.
Open Broadcast Studio. It's just
Okay.
the free program that all streaming runs through, pretty much.
OBS to me sounds like you're saying like some kind of drop shipping lingo. You're gonna tell me.
It's actually it's a chronic disease, and I have it. And the only cure is to make ridiculous art. So it's perfect. OBS
Oh,
will not take me.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
All
this
right.
was a
Well,
nice quick short one.
yeah. Oh, this was good. I'm gonna go play Elden Ring.
Heck yeah, Nate just platinumed it. He borrowed it from me 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
I hadn't even beat the game once, and I was like, "Yeah, you can take this from me."
Yeah, dude. It's big. It's the platinuming it in 2 weeks is shocking to me. That's like some. I mean, he must be good or something, or just have like tons of time dedicated in it. Um, I've tried a few of the Dark Souls before. Have you played them? Like, are you into them as a genre, or what's your? I think you're a better gamer than I am, but
I've dabbled. I've never beaten a single Dark Souls.
okay.
I absolutely love the universe. I just those types of games are great. I just have never had the courage to beat them. Like I'm beating Resident Evil 8 right now, and like that's more my speed.
Is Resident Evil 8 the one with the mommy
Yes,
lady?
yes,
I just played 7 last year for, well, not last year, 2022 for Halloween. Which I liked a lot. That was the first Resident Evil game I'd actually like played. I'd seen someone play one as a kid.
yeah,
They're fun.
yeah. I
I've
haven't
got
played
the
that either.
4
I just beat
remake to
it.
play.
Oh, you're gonna love 4. 4 is the best in my opinion. It's my favorite video game ever made. It's just glorified arcade puzzle with scary, creatures. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It seems like it's a good time. Um, I decided to do Elden Ring. So my thought is, so Grace got me a PlayStation 5 for Christmas.
Nice.
It was like an insane Christmas present. I went kind of insane last year with the espresso machine, so she like told me like, yeah, I decided to one up you this year. And so I was like, okay, I have the PS5. I've told that Elden Ring is the most accessible of these, and I've never really been able to get it. So I'm like, even if I don't love it, I'm gonna figure out why people like these, because this is the one that like people apparently can get into even if they're not like a Dark Souls person.
Yeah, because it has the open world quality that the other ones don't necessarily have.
Yeah.
Those feel a little bit more like Metroidvania, where you might go to the same places freely, but you backtrack. Whereas
Right.
that's like more Breath of the Wild, where it's like, here's the map, go. And you can also jump, which is new to the series, which is a small thing, but it does matter.
Wait, so you couldn't jump before?
No, no
That's
jumping, just dodge rolling.
Yeah, the jumping is nice. I'm doing like a block counter build, and the thing that I do like about it is that open world thing, and I think other people have all said this, so it's not a terribly original thought. But the thing that is really nice for me is that since I'm not just like good at Dark Souls, I just haven't done it. It's been nice for me to be like, okay, if there's anything that's just kicking my ass and it's too hard, I don't have to like just go grind on nothing for a while. I can just go explore some other area. I can just be like, okay, like the witch lady just absolutely railing me. I'm gonna go and mess with some caves or some shit. It's not like, oh, the witch lady's railing me, so I have to go kill her goons for 4 days in a row before I'm good enough to fight the lady. Which is cool. So, anyways, I don't want to bog the stream down with just a whole bunch of nonsense. So, that was great. That was a lot of fun. Let's do this again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Let's do a podcast. Let's.
I'm in town Sunday doing rehearsal. If you want to grab like dinner or something before I head home, if you're free. But if not, no worries.
I will let you know. We're gonna be staying with some friends Saturday, so not sure when we're getting back Sunday.
No worries. Yeah, I don't totally know my schedule either, but if you're around and like looking to do something,
Nice.
I'll try to hit you up, and if not, no big deal whatsoever.
Hell yeah.
All right, love you, buddy. I'm gonna go become a void.
Love you too, bud.
Bye.
Bye. And to all the viewers who are still here or tuning in afterwards, this is a nice, quick, short stream. It's good to be back in the new year. For anyone who's never seen this, I'm Scribble Warlock. That was Kyle Lewis. We do music and art together. I do the shapes, he does the sounds. This was a lot of fun. There will be more streams. One most likely next week with him. One probably sooner on my own. Doing not as crazy artwork, but still artwork. So, peace and love to you all. Get your creative juices flowing. Kiss your, your loved ones. And have a good, lovely night. Adios.